Anderson Cooper is keeping them honest. AC 360, CNN weeknights, 8 Eastern.
What do you make, first of all, what's happening at the court this week?
Well, I think it's kind of unfortunate that the Supreme Court is moving away from this idea of making a sweeping statement here, because they have a perfect chance to show that American citizens who pay their taxes, who serve in our military, and who are being discriminated against should no longer be discriminated against.
It's interesting, though. I mean, the barriers for gay Americans and lesbian Americans are coming down on a lot of different fronts, marriage, military service, but we don't really see that happening in major sports. And I want to play, well, actually, why do you think that is? I mean, why do you think there hasn't been an openly gay player in the NFL or National Basketball Association or Major League Baseball?
Well, it's just because the window of opportunity to play is so short that you don't want to risk any sort of distraction that could keep you from keeping that job. It's very tough to make it to the professional leagues in the first place, and anything that lowers that possibility, guys are going to avoid.
I'm interested in why you have been so vocal on this issue, because you don't see a lot of players coming forward and speaking out on this issue, straight players who are taking a very public stand on this. What was your evolution on this?
Well, I've always been raised to treat other people the way I would like to be treated. It's a fairly simple philosophy. a lot of religions have it as a core tenet. And to me, it was the fact that people are not being treated fairly. If I am free to marry my wife and to raise my children, why are other people not free to do the same thing? That's what America is founded on, the freedom to live your own life.
How do you think a sports figure, somebody on a team currently, would fare if they did come out, if they did say they were gay?
I think there would be support within the locker room. There would probably be a couple guys who wouldn't get it, but that's just like society at large. There are people who never will get it, and you pretty much just have to wait for them to grow old and die off. But I think the players would be okay with it. The fans would probably take a little while to come around to it, but at the end of the day, I think it would be fine.
There was one potential NFL player, a prospective player, who was recently came forward and said that he had been asked about whether he dated, whether he had a girlfriend, by people who were scouting him. Did that surprise you?
It doesn't really surprise me from the standpoint that NFL teams are almost pathological in their need for information, because they want to make sure there are no surprises. They want to make sure there's no distractions to the team, to the chemistry. And so from that standpoint, I can see why they're asking the question. That being said, the question shouldn't be asked, because the players are in a very vulnerable position, because they are relying on the team to give them a job, and that gives the teams a lot of power over what they can expect from the player. So I think that's something that should be off limits in future combines and draft processes, and I think the commissioner is probably going to make sure that's the case.
CBS Sports is reporting that an NFL player is rumored to be on the verge of coming out. What would your advice be to that person?
Just stay true to yourself and realize that you have allies within the league and outside of the league. I mean, like I said earlier, there are always going to be people who don't get it, but more and more people are getting it and realizing that this is a matter of being free to live your own life without the oppression of someone else.